Hi, everybody. This is Joanne Nistico, Shackley Master Coordinator, and I'm very lucky to be the OPA host for this evening's call, along with a couple of my team players. It's very nice to get to see everybody again because I've been out of, as I was saying, I've had all summer off, which is one of the benefits of building a large Shackley business. You get to take the whole summer off and the checks still keep coming in the mail. And so that's a blessing in itself. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing. It was interesting in 2019 and 20, we were all in the throes of COVID, and I was hosting 2 meetings a week right through those 2 years. And then it came to a point where I realized I needed to do something different. So I sat back and really started evaluating what did I see for myself as I go forward into my 50th year next year in Shackley. So I took a course by a man named Cameron Harold, who I take courses through Mind Valley Academy quite often. And he wrote a book called Vivid Vision. And I spent a lot of time on that. And what I found so interesting was that this conference this year, the main message by all of the main speakers was creating your vision. So we decided that we would offer that, what I learned and what my team and I were working with to share with you how we articulated what a vivid vision is and how we could go forward. Well, I think I don't have it on screen share, so excuse me just a minute. So with that said, I'm going to go forward. Tonight, we'll go through the fundamentals of the body of work that we created. Specifically, I worked with Pam Budner and Jennifer Cancio to define and update our process. So I worked on the vivid vision, what I wanted to see in the next 3 years, and then we took that message and decided to create a process and steps to assist us in accomplishing that 3-year vision. So we'll be going through the fundamentals of that, as well as showing a YouTube. I'm only going to show a few minutes on the YouTube, but on the screen, I gave you the link that you can write down to see where you could see the full YouTube, because it would take too long. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen, and we'll begin. We'll leave time for questions and answers. So we use this as an appointment in our business process, but what is your vision? I've adapted a little bit for tonight, but what is your vision for your future? So often people get into Shackley and they never really create a vision of what their business will look like in the next 3 years. So with that said, I'm going to share a little bit of his video clip. I'll start over.
And over the last 10 years, I've been in 28 countries on 5 continents, working with CEOs of some of the major organizations, but also dealing with a lot of their people. And I started to notice something that was happening. What was happening was this unbelievable lack of vision. Now, I want you to think back to a job that you had recently or a job that you're in now. Think about the company for a second. How clear were you on where the CEO was taking the company? How clear were you on what the decisions were and why they were being made? How clear were you really on what your role was in that organization? I think most of the people in most companies are showing up every day a little bit confused, a little bit unorganized, a little bit perplexed, a little lost. They're not really sure why they're there. They kind of show up every day making their best guesses and trying their best, but really it's almost like herding cats. Having been a CEO and having been a COO, we often find that we're trying to hold people accountable and align people, but it's really because of this lack of vision. You walk into any of the great companies and you can see the one big difference is either they know where they're going or they really don't. And most people are only making mistakes not because they want to, but they're making mistakes because they're making their judgments based on what they can see, not necessarily what the entrepreneur or the CEO can see. So I want you to think about the average person, just the average individual around the world, and think about their lives. Think about your life today. Are you really clear on where you're taking your life over the next 3 years? Do you wake up in the morning aligned with those goals? Are you making decisions aligned with your core values or aligned where you see yourself as an individual? Or are you merely waking up first thing in the morning and looking at your iPhone and checking your email and being busy and kind of getting on with the day? Most people wake up in the morning and just start, but without any real direction. Then you kind of end up somewhere, but if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. What about families? If you've got a family or you're building a family, maybe you've got a spouse, what's happening actually in your family? Is your family actually aligned and organized? Or are you actually starting fights and arguments? You know, what's popularized in the business world are these vivid visions, or these vision boards, I'm sorry. The vision boards were popularized in the movie The Secret, where you take a bunch of pictures and sketches and drawings, you make a little mosaic and you hang them up in your home. Maybe they're in your kitchen or they're in your bathroom or your closet. Maybe they're above your desk at the office. And they work really well for one person, but they don't really work very well for a group of people because a picture says 1,000 words. So if you do your own vision board, you cut out a picture, let's say it was a picture of this stage, you might be honing in on the red carpet or the burgundy jacket. I was told to wear black, but then we weren't allowed to wear black. Or if I said, what's the picture you see on stage, you might see the red TED. But if I was talking about the 2 monitors on the floor, our pictures are different because we all interpret what we want to see. So a vision board doesn't work for more than just one person. So that's what happens is we get lost. In companies, we're taught in business school to have vision statements. So the classic way to do it is you get a bunch of great employees into a room, put a bunch of your favorite words up on a whiteboard, you vote on all the favorite words that you've got. You got 7 or 8 words left over, right? You put them into one big sentence. That's your mission statement. Go team. Right? We all walk out of those going, that sucks. Even the owner of the company or the leader of the company knows it doesn't make any sense at all, but that's the only tool we have to align you. And in our lives, we're left with nothing other than a vision board, which we can't share with anybody else. Take a look at this. 2 of the mission statements for 2 great organizations. You got the Make-A-Wish Foundation, an organization we'd all love to support, but that's the direction we're going in. That's all we know. The people every day will share the power of a wish. We don't know how they're supposed to act. We don't know how they're supposed to behave. We don't know what their culture's like. We don't know enough about it, so we don't have a tool. Or the San Diego Zoo, the same idea. Countless vision statements are broken. In fact, my BHAG, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to replace vision statements worldwide with the concept I'm going to teach you today of vivid vision. So the vivid vision is around looking into a crystal ball. Now I know that sounds a little bit weird, but when I was taught the topic, taught the concept about looking into the future, they talked to us about athletes and how these high-performance athletes, like high jumpers, would visualize themselves performing the event. Well, imagine if...
Okay, I'm going to stop here again. It's available. If you look to the top left here, you'll see your vision statement sucks, Cameron Herold YouTube. So that's where you can get this, the YouTube that I just showed. Here's his book for you that the book is pretty much based upon corporations, just to let you all know. And what I did was I took what I read or what I was taught and I transferred it what would relate to me. And in actuality, because Roger Barnett is such a visionary, a lot of the material that I did for my team's vivid vision came directly from what I pulled from what Shackley Corporation had already given us. So I just applied it to my vision and how I wanted to introduce it to my team. So I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Cancio. Jennifer?
Hi, I'm Jennifer. So what is a vivid vision? As Cameron Herold says, it's a document. These are words that paint a picture of what your company looks and feels like 3 years into the future. And you write it as if it's already happened. And the document is not a vision board with images. It's 3, 4, maybe 5 pages, and it can be bullet points about your life, your organization, your team's activities. And we do this so that you can reverse engineer your goals from the big picture that you've projected 3 years from now. And when you know where you're going and you've reversed engineer it, the beauty of it is that all of your activities and all of your actions and your team's activities and your team's actions are in alignment with your vision. Because if you don't have a vision that you can share and be specific with words, and we'll get more detailed in a moment, if you don't have that, you end up wasting a lot of time. You wake up, you doom scroll on Facebook or whatever. And then it's just basically creates alignment. And actually go to the next slide. So I was going to say it goes on to the next slide.
Okay.
Is on there. So when you write your vivid vision, you first have to be clear that it's not a mission statement. My mission statement is helping people create health and vitality using natural solutions. Well, I know what that means to me, and I know what my vision board means to me. But a vivid vision is using words, using descriptions to create a three-dimensional world that you can step into and explore. You've got to be really clear about where you're taking your life. Where are you taking your organization? Where do you want your business to be? What does it look like? It's a world also that you can share with your team to create accurate alignment and outstanding results. So if I took my vision board and showed it to Joanne, like Cameron Harold says, she might see something else in that vision board and may not see it the way I do. So really, it's the power of the word here. And it's a precise roadmap that helps your team see where you want to go. And the real beautiful thing when you sit and watch this video, what really, every time I watch it, I hear something different. I've watched about 6 times since yesterday. It's designed to attract people that want to jump on board. And it's also designed to repel people. How much energy have we spent on people that really never joined our cause anyway? So it is also designed to repel people as well. And so that's the beauty of it. You're clear, and it just kind of sorts people for you pretty quickly. And you think about it, he started to talk about the athletes. Athletes have a vivid vision. Anyone that watched the US Open like I did this weekend, that those tennis players visualize their forehand, their drop shots, their backhand, their serves. And he talks about in the video that Mary Lou Retton, before a gymnastics event, would get on the mat with note cards and walk through the mat and read what she was doing and visualize it and feel it. Well, the same thing should be for our personal lives and our Shackley business. And that's what Cameron Harold is trying to teach, that we can actually do this for ourselves. He actually says he has 2 of them, one for his personal life and one for his business. And we propose you write a vivid vision, because the written word becomes your roadmap, gives you structure, and becomes your team's roadmap.
Oh, okay, I'm doing this slide now. So how do you start? Did you skip a slide, Joanne?
You skip one.
Did
Go
I?
back.
Yeah, you skipped.
Yeah, go back one.
Yeah,
Hold on. See if it'll move.
back
There we
one.
go.
Okay, so this just continues what Jennifer has set up so nicely for us. How do you write it? Sometimes writing can be difficult. I think it's easier in some ways to do the images and put them up on a board and look at that. But putting a pen to paper can be really challenging. And I know one of the tools that's helped me a lot, and I've shared this with many of you on this call, it's called Write It Down, Make It Happen by Henriette Ann Clouser. And so if you're struggling a little bit with the exercise of writing things down, this is a wonderful resource, simple to read, and it has always inspired me. I've read it and reread it and highlighted it. It's just so helpful. So if you struggle with that, I suggest this as a resource, and also to get a fresh notebook that's really clean and crisp and doesn't have anything else in it. And to pick a date 3 to 5 years from now. So we're kind of focusing on 3 years with our team. So the year is 2025 and the month is September. And that's how you write. You start to write. It's September 14th or 13th, and the year is 2025. What is your business going to look like in that time? And to write it in the present tense and to use the language as I am. So if it's a rank that you want to achieve, I am a master coordinator. It's September 2025. My business is growing. I see the following people surrounding me. I think that's one of the fun things to do. And one of the most challenging things I have found personally is if you don't see the leaders defined already, imagine people within your own community, your own sphere of influence, who you really enjoy being around, whom you really admire, and think about putting them into your imagining, into your written word, and not so much to target them individually, but to say people like Sue Jones. Let's say Sue Jones is someone who's a leader you admire. They have qualities that you're always attracted to and you love. So create some imaginings and put people in there with the qualities that you want to attract. Because if you think about that, that's the kind of people that will begin to be drawn to you. And don't limit yourself. Write down your ideal future, have fun with it. We aren't taught in our educational system about how to dream very much, about how to imagine. I think that maybe unless you're an artist with paints and paper, that we often don't have the skill to imagine. So it's an exercise, but it's a fun exercise to be able to imagine and to dream and to imagine the people that you want to have with you in your business. Let's go to the next slide. So who are you as a company? Joanne talked about aligning ourselves and who we are and what we're about with the vision that Roger Barnett has created for our company, for Shackley. And it's a very compelling vision. Are your core values in sync with that company? How many consumers and business partners do you want in 3 years? The year is 2025. What is it going to look like? How are you thinking about your representation under the umbrella of Shackley? How do you want to be perceived by other people in your community? This becomes all a part of what you're writing down. Let's go to the next slide. So I love this question. So do you have a marketing strategy? Well, a better question is, what is your marketing strategy? Because you better have one. And that's what we're all about. We're the marketing arm for Shackley, and we have to decide what our strategy is going to be. And I have talked about building and developing a database. That's what we do. Building is things we do with people before they say yes. And developing is when we kind of cultivate those long-term relationships and get to know as much as we can about the people who join us. Where do our new customers come from? Well, the more places you're generating exposure, the more you're going to add people to your database. And I also think that it's really good, we're talking about 3 years, is to pick 3 areas that you want to focus on. They could be social media, they could be ads, they could be direct mail. If you like to join networking groups like BNI or Rotary, we have to be able to go fishing and define where we want to fish for our new customers and our business partners. How often are your customers buying from you? You know, we have the benefit of being a part of a business that is based in consumable products. People use and consume the products that we make day after day, month after month, year after year. And it's our job to stay in front of them. There's a lot more competition than there was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So how are we staying in front of our customers so they continue to have that link to our product, to our vision, and to what we're hoping to achieve with the work that we do? How are you adding referrals to your database? This is an area that I'm focusing personally on a lot right now, by just creating some language and reaching out to people, letting them know I'm expanding my business. I'm looking for some new team players, some new consumers. Who do they know who might be interested in what I'm about? And having a process, as Joanne has talked about. That's a strategy as well. Okay.
So let your imagination fly. So I'm hoping as you've been listening to this presentation that names are popping into your head, some ideas are popping into your head as Pam was reading those questions. And what is your big, hairy, audacious goal? That was one phrase that Cameron talks about in the video, you know, your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. And really think about it and expound on that. What do you ultimately want? Why did you say to this business, say yes to this business? What is your goal and how are you going to get there within 3 years? It's so important to have this vivid vision because you become what you think about. And you've got to take action on your ideas. And taking action starts with you, your vision, and the people that you enjoy. You can go to the next slide.
Okay, just a second.
So as you're thinking about who do you want in your organization, how do you want to expand on your organization, who are the people you would most like to have on your team? So are they, for example, one of my BHAGs, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to have a strong leg of health coaches and life coaches who incorporate Shaklee with their business. That's one of my BHAGs. Those are the kinds of people I want to have on my team. What kind of personalities, what kind of energy level do you want on your team? Who do you know who takes vitamins and is into supplementation? Definitely those are people to talk to and share your vision with. Who do you know who values better health? Massage therapists, personal trainers, chiropractors. And think about who do you know who are entrepreneurs? Who has an entrepreneurial spirit? I mean, clearly our product, our biggest product really is our business opportunity. And it's very easy to get started, as all of you know. And so who can you talk to who are entrepreneurs who might want to hear about your vivid vision? Who do you know who is concerned about the health of the planet and wants to use products that are going to protect our planet and want to make an impact through their wallet by buying products that are in line with their values about the environment? Who do you know who's dissatisfied with their job or even wants a side income? These are the kinds of people to think about as you write your vision. These are the kinds of people you want to share it with. And they may know somebody who would want to also hear about your vision as well. You can go to the next slide. And so this slide got repeated in the presentation. So it really starts with you taking action. Your ideas are worthless unless we act on them. So the Vivid Vision is a wonderful tool to help you implement your ideas and put them into action.
Oops, sorry, I went backwards.
Ah, that's why. There we go. That's what happened. I was wondering what
Okay,
happened.
thank you, Jennifer and Pam. This is my vivid vision that I created. And it basically started last year, and it states, my mission is simple and clear. I love to help people improve their lives through true wellness and to expand this message by helping our business leaders turn their dreams in reality. Who we are, we're a fast-growing, high-energy team of self-starters and doers with a high level of passion and pride for true wellness. We are a trusted community. So this is what I created for my team, and I ended up creating with the help of my assistant and Jennifer and Pam to put it all in one place for my team. Now, not all master coordinators have this, so that you can all do this together as a team, but it starts with giving the team an opportunity to use something like this. I created a booklet that they're able to put their own picture on and their own business card on. And I'm using this like candy. I'm giving it out to people that I want to tell them who I am, what I stand for, and what my vision is, and that I'm looking for people that might be interested in it. Now, what happens is I get interest, and then I have my process. So the process we take into consideration, what would that process look like? This is how I felt we needed to help. I needed to help our team say, okay, well, what do we do next? So we created what's called a flow chart within that. to, let's see here if I can pull it up. So it says start here with the flow chart. And we do a flow chart for consumers and what the next steps would be. I want to thank Hannah and Alan Sherpin and some of their team because we've adopted a lot of what they did in a welcome letter and coupons. We then added appointments that we wanted people to go through because we felt 6 times makes a friend. And then we had a business builder flow chart. But it all stems, this is a moot point if we don't have our vivid vision. So the reality is we want to really get people to see who we are, to see what we represent, and then we have our process to take them through so that we see whether or not we have a checklist on what we expect from a person. And again, as Jennifer said, it's also meant to repel people. And I did one appointment the other day with a former retired military woman who was in wellness, wants to do true wellness. She's an entrepreneur, had all the things in line for herself. And boy, did we have the goose that laid the golden egg. But she wasn't ready. The timing wasn't ready. But at least she has my information and she knows what I stand for and the standards I stand for. And again, the team is to duplicate. So why your vivid vision? Well, what I realized is, and I was caught in this, some entrepreneurs have been in business for 10 years and others have repeated the same year 10 times. How often is that true for myself? I know that I would repeat and not see much growth in certain years. And that's when I knew I needed to make the changes necessary for myself and my team to move forward into the next 3 to 5 years of what we all want to see. And of course, as I said, one of my major passions is to help my team achieve their dreams and what they see. So let your imagination fly. Do as Pam said, get the Vivid Vision book or get the book, write it down, make it happen. Spend some time reflecting on who you are, what you stand for. In my Vivid Vision booklet, Shackley Corporation fills all of those corporate elements because we have the umbrella of a corporation filling in the marketing, filling in the IT stuff for us, filling in the manufacturing and high quality. What do we come to the party with? We come to the party with answering all those questions that we had on that slide that we need to evaluate for ourselves. And then we've got to create a laser-like focus and activity that will get us there, because what we think about most of the time is really where we end up. I'm going to share just a little bit of this. And again, if you see The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale is on YouTube, and you'll have to choose the one that has a quality recording.
I'd like to tell you about the strangest secret in the world. Not long ago, Albert Schweitzer, the great doctor and Nobel Prize winner, was being interviewed in London, and a reporter asked him, "Doctor, what's wrong with men today?" The great doctor was silent a moment, and then he said, "Men simply don't think." And it's about this that I want to talk with you. I'd like to tell you about the strangest...
So that's the strangest secret. You can get that information, but again, it all starts with you and the people you enjoy. So gather your team, gather the people, whether it's one partner teaming with you, or 30 partners teaming with you. Work at it together. If you're the leader, you're the person who has to set the example. So you'll have to start setting that example for yourself. So that is pretty much it for what we wanted to share this evening. If any of you have any questions, we'll leave it open now for a few 10 minutes or more. If there's any questions at all, I know that a lot of Shackley people don't like to ask questions, so we might end it right here. But if you have a question, we're here for you. Anybody?
I just want to make a comment. This is Lisa.
Okay.
I love the idea of, if I understood right, putting a booklet together about you and your mission, and
Yeah.
great piece
is.
of material to hand to somebody. Oh, that is so cool to get to know you, because
So you'll
we're
see that
supposed
we
to-
have it all. It's a 4 or 5 page. We have our team pictures in it. You'll see the team there. And then in the back, if you'd like to find out more, this is who you
Oh.
contact. And I have really,
That's
I'm
awesome.
allowing my team to put their picture in it and have their information. But I'm keeping them in my car. And so if I meet with a therapist, a physical therapist, or I meet with a massage therapist, my owner of the barn where I have my horse was the one who introduced me to the woman who's the military gal. And so that's who I gave this to. So it's very
That's awesome.
handy.
Thanks.
So Lisa, yes, and again, it's something that I had to spend time with, though. It wasn't easy, believe me. I
Right.
was pulling my hair out. And I was, sending it off to Pam and Jennifer and saying, what do and I'm not a writer. I hate it, but I disciplined myself enough. And then I had an editor and others help me make sure that it pulled together correctly. So it can be a team effort. So,
Joanne, and this is
Yeah.
Hannah.
Hi,
Alan and
Hannah.
I just wanted to give you all kudos. I think you've done a fabulous job of this. I thank you so much for sharing it with all of us. I think it's going to benefit a lot of people. And you can tell you put a lot of work into it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it really was a good year of effort on my part to get it to the production line so that I could make it duplicatable and available to my team at a reasonable cost. I did have to hire copy editors and other people, which I was willing to do for myself. And then even if my team didn't adopt it, because I'm looking for a lot of new team members. And this is who I am, and this is how I wanted to present myself.
Joanne, this is Ray. This is great. Vision work, I think, is really, really important. There's going to be ups and downs in your business. There always is. But with a strong vision
I have
of
Leah.
where you want to be,
I wonder what
3
happened
years.
with Lee. They acted so.
Hannah, you need to mute.
Mute.
Okay, sorry, Ray.
That's it will pull you. It'll pull you. It'll continue to pull you towards where you want to go. So you're going to have your goals, your 6-month goals or your yearly goals or whatever. But your vision is what really pulls you and keeps you on track and to get you where you want to go. So the vision stuff is really, really
Well,
important.
And plus the 3 to 5 year goal, let's say 3-year
Yeah.
goal, you then break it down.
Sure,
to what you
that's the
need to
reverse
do in
engineering
order to
Pam was talking
achieve
about.
monthly,
Yeah.
and then what you have to do to work at it weekly. So
Yeah.
you take the 3, it's as Jennifer's slide said, is you then back down your big, hairy, audacious goal,
Right.
and you back it down. The other thing I wanted to say is, don't worry about how it's going to pull together. Just believe it is going to pull together. And open up your reticulator activator system to say, where are those? I call them my God winks. Where's my God wink today? That will help fulfill my bodacious goal. And they come from the strangest places, usually not where I anticipate. All right, well, I see a lot of familiar faces. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's always a joy to see all of my Shackley OPA family. And unless anyone else have a question, Scott is going to put the PowerPoint up. My email address will be there. You can email me if you would like to find out more. Rosanna? You're on mute, Rosanna. Unmute.
I'm sorry.
There you go. You're on mute again.
Oh no. There you go. Am I good? Okay, it's staying.
Yes.
I was just wondering, it's a fabulous booklet. I mean, it's just fabulous. And when you switched it over though to your team, how does that work when your team changes? Like those people are on there now, and because it's not like a 3-ring binder or something, how would
I'll
we?
just get a new production of it. You know,
Okay.
you know, I don't worry about, you know, it'd be a nice problem to have that we add 20 on the recap and I have to fill in all the slots. But I think right now, as we go forward, we have a lot of new momentum going. The teams are working, some of the team, not all of the team are on board with it, but I'm okay with that because I really only want to work with the team who want to work with me and with that. I love everybody, but I have my vision of where I'm going and I need to have the team that want to go with me with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I see it.
And this is so easy to update. I don't order so many that I'm overloaded with it. So and the cost isn't that great. So I can order in smaller increments of 20 to 30, depending on how often I'm giving them out. And each of my team members are responsible for their own purchase of once they change the format in their information, then they can order as many as they like that they feel responsible for.
Oh, that's neat.
How I've worked it right now, anyway.
That's neat that they can personalize it when they get to that level or where you're at or whatever. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, and they're personalizing it now. Jennifer and Susie are both personalizing theirs now and using it. We'll be using it. So we're not waiting till anybody gets a bigger business. This is meant to help them get a bigger business.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, everybody. Well, again, thank you. Scott will post my email address and I'm happy to talk to anybody that wants to hear more information privately. All right, thank you all. Good
Thank you.
timing. Good night.
Thanks,
And blessings.
everybody.
Good night.
All right,
Night.
bye-bye.
Bye.